and a lot of them have been really getting to grips with that wide flowing qualifying line, which is designed obviously for the pro drivers, that these lower horsepower cars are going to come off the line now and see what they can do. Our first driver is going to be Arthur De Donker as he comes off the line in this blue Nissan 350Z now. Do excuse me if I don't know too much information about these guys because I haven't studied them in depth, and as you see, these guys won't be able to stick to as wide on the line as most of our pro drivers, because this, as I say, has been designed for our pro drivers specifically. So you can see doing a good job so far is Arthur, keeps his nose clean on that inner clip. Now last transition in that D-cell, gets into that final outside zone, full throttle in that 350Z, hammers down, gets the car across the line. A nice job from that young man. Take a look back at the replay and see how it all went down. Straight line initiation, not quite what the judges were looking for. They were looking for a feint initiation or a clutch kick, and you can see he left the outside zone a little early, but nevertheless still got the job done and a good task. And there is a D-cell zone there, but specifically aimed for our pro drivers, more carrying that speed. You could see what he done was use the handbrake there to extend it. As we say, these cars unroll caged, a lot of them no harnesses. There'll be a street car. And this is just to try and enhance the drivers. One of our female drivers this weekend did a highlight on her on our social media channel on Instagram. She comes off the line in her 350Z, Nora Jamal Saleh. So a 53.3 there for Arthur on his qualifying run. And I go back to Nora now. Gets that car into that first long outside zone. Starts to work her way around, gets for the transition a little wide, could have pulled the front end a little bit closer to that inner clip. Nevertheless, it helps her into this long outside zone, but you can see struggling with power there, wanders in and out of that long outside zone. Now fails to get that inner zone, drops 2 wheels over the edge of the circuit. Oh, and that will be 4 wheels off track. And you can see struggling to try and get it back onto the circuit there, so do believe that might be a 0 for Nora. I know the judges are going to be quite laxed, so it will be a 0 from our judges for Nora. As we go back on the line, Abdul Halim now in this white Nissan 370Z. You see a lot of these guys are a reoccurring trend. These cars, if you've ever driven a Nissan 350Z, you'll know, very good learner car, potential to take you all the way up through grassroots before you make the jump into pro. One of our media guys this weekend got the offer to drive a car and said, you know what, I'm going to take the opportunity, jumped into it, and now you can see him out on circuit. Little dab of the handbrake, sets himself up there, a little wobble as he goes into the outside zone. The pressure of qualifying getting to some of these drivers now. They were a lot more smoother, consistent and flowing in our practice session earlier on. Oh, and 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit, so big points deducted there for Abdul Halim, a man who resides in Ireland and in the UAE. So comes across the line. We wait for the score to be called out there for Abdul Halim. Nice initiation there. So a 63 there for Abdul Halim. Yeah, nice initiation. Judges rewarding the use of the momentum, and that was talked about quite a lot last night in our briefing, which was designed just for our street class. Trying to get those guys to trust the car, use the momentum of the vehicle as they come off the line through the gears, and as I say, a little feint initiation, maybe a dab of the handbrake to set themselves up. Coming off the line now is going to be Rebecca. Academy drivers, big clutch kick in that Mustang. You can see now some of these guys may have a roll cage, but it isn't in our rules that you need to have a roll cage to compete in this class. Very nice. You can see the extra power there. Doing a good turn, but puts a wheel over on the inside. Struggles to get to the outside zone earlier, and he's going to wander and waver now. He looks to put a wheel in there. See if he is, but he isn't. As Ralph Rebecca gets across the line. So take a look back. Flicks that car in and falls out of the outside zone. Just keeps a wheel in it, but isn't as clean as what the judges would like to have seen. Getting the job done nevertheless. So picks up the inner clip. You can see a wheel off there, but used it to try and force himself over into this long last outside zone. So a 57 there for Ralph. We go back on the line. You can see it's going to be a Mohammed Rahan. Took a look around. Oh no, sorry, my bad. It will be Sebastian Crofter. Jumping ahead on the queue there on my paperwork. So comes off the line, through the gears. Big clutch kick initiation. Judges will like that. Look at that. That's what we're talking about. Using the momentum of the car. Didn't go too fast into that first outside zone. Used the momentum to keep him going. This is very nice so far from Sebastian Crofter. As he now puts the wheel right to the edge of the circuit. Oh, just going to fall out. That car's not having the legs to keep him into that outside zone. Very nice though. Good transition back once again. That momentum still playing in full effect. Gets it into that final outside zone right to the edge of the circuit. That's very good for Sebastian Crofter. And as we say, judges will be lenient on these guys. We're trying to enhance their driving, not put them down. We're trying to progress these guys and get them onto the pro circuits, get them driving at pro level and try and hone their skills. So a 70 there for Sebastian. And up next it'll be Mohammed Rahan. As you can see him there on the line, ready to go. One of our youngest drivers on the grid this weekend. You can see the big 360 camera hanging off the front there, trying to get all of the angle. And again, another guy using the momentum, big flick to angle. Look at that, all the way through that first long outside zone. Flicks the car back, picks up the inner, shallows up the angle. Big clutch kick, a little dab of the handbrake to set himself up for this outside zone. This young man, a lot of talent. As he now fires through, you can see a little wobble there, waver as he looks for that inner zone, dab of the handbrake once again, gets himself set up, oh, and it's a wheel over the edge of the circuit, holds on to it though, puts it back where it needs to be, and across the line. So look back at the replay as we wait for the score to be announced from our judges. So a 66.3 for Mohammed there. Good use of the car, good use of the momentum. That's what I like to see. And we talked to the drivers a lot about this last night, as I say in the briefing. These lower horsepower cars, you can't be heavy on the foot brake or handbrake. You need to trust the momentum, get the car dialed up. Another one of our female drivers is going to be Dina. That's the line. Puts the car in, doesn't get to that outside zone, no. And struggles, saying that very little seat time in this car, and she's now starting to get to grips with it. She looks for outside zone 3, full throttle, all the way through. Keeps it clean on the inner zone. Oh, goes a little wide there, not where the judges wanted to see drivers, and that's going to cause her to go on the inside of this outside zone, triangulates that final outside zone and across the line. So here we go. Yeah, and the thing I think what went wrong there for Dina was lack of commitment on the initiation. Could have done with a nice clutch kick or even used a handbrake to get her set up. So a 58.3 for Dina. So back on the line, it's going to be Polkit Jane, as you can see. And Nissan 370Z struggled yesterday quite a bit in that car. Dabbing the handbrake. Oh, just lacking a little bit of commitment there, and maybe speed on the way in to initiation. That white line across the circuit denoting the start of scoring. Nevertheless, makes his way around, looks for outside zone 3 on a pretty good line here on outside zone 3, fulfills it all. Can he get the transition back after this inner zone? He can, slows the car down, but he loses too much speed, and now he's going to go way off the circuit, and it is again another 4 wheels off the track. When we take a look back at the replay, so it will be a 0 there for Polkit. As you can see, messed it up a little bit there, but it will be a 0. 4 wheels off the circuit, not what I want to see. Unfortunately, as much as we're being lenient with a lot of these drivers, we can't dismiss 4 wheels off track. They will have to be punished. You can see right there, 4 wheels off. Back on the line we go though. Yusuf Haithim learn the skill of drifting, and such a cheap way for him to do it, and backed and supported by the Emirates Drift Championship at these events, the street class. These guys get an opportunity to drive their cars on track in a safe environment around some of the best from the UAE and the GCC. So they do get 2 qualifying runs, non-consecutively. Nice initiation, keeps that car in the outside zone. This is good from the young man. Now full throttle, trying to look for that inside zone, gets it, goes back. You see a dab of the handbrake in that decel zone, back on throttle, good commitment. Look at this, right to the edge of the circuit. This is good from the young man. What can he do? Oh, he's just on the inside a little bit, loses some points with a wheel over the line. Now looks for that zone again, a wheel over, but nevertheless, full commitment and across the line. A round of applause to Yusuf Haytham. What a run. To say these guys, most of these drivers are below 16 years old, very new to drifting, learning every single time they're in the car, picking up tips from all the pros around the paddock. And in lower horsepower cars, I think they're doing an incredible job out there, especially in qualifying when the pressure of practice is over. So a 64.7, not sure if you can hear my radio or not, but that is how we are communicating with our judges. I'm going to go back on the line. It's going to be Mohammed Nidal on the line, ready to go. Some good driving yesterday in practice in the evening. What can he do right now as he comes off the line? Nice initiation from Mohammed. Straight line, judges won't like it that much, but nevertheless, again, a little bit of grace being given. Full throttle transition as well. Dab of the handbrake, looks for outside zone 3. Big clutch kick there. You see the back of the car dip down as he gets into that zone. Just about holds in to the outside. Just tags the cone with the front bumper. Good transition. Oh, and he spins the car. So unfortunate there for Mohammed. Will be a 0. You can see, invested a lot of money and time into that car. Already caged. Ready to make the jump up when applicable to the pro class. Maybe some more power required. But looking good out there already. Just a shame that he got this transition. Very tricky transition. This judge is saying that this will be a deciding point tonight in our pro battles. With people making contact. So keep an eye on that point on the circuit, on that transition from the second inner clip to the final outside zone. We go back on the line. 370Z, sorry. And took a look around 2 of these cars that look almost identical, a black and a white one earlier on today. Nice cars, they're all put together. Look at this, you can see big commitment, nice initiation, puts that car to angle. Already firing through the circuit, nice line in that inner zone. And again, look at that, waits a long time to get back on throttle for outside zone 3, but makes it work. Look at that wheel right to the line. As he fires the car through the centre circuit, picks up that inner zone, a little shy though, dab of the handbrake, sets himself up for the final outside zone. Full throttle right to the edge of the track, and that is absolutely brilliant from Ilya. So take a look back at the replay. Nice line, look at this, right to the edge of the circuit. Already knowing the limits. 77.7. So we go back on the line. Hani Verma. No photograph. But yesterday progressed massively, and this morning in practice. The edge of the circuit, started to find that flowing line that the judges were talking about. Now what can be done as they come around, transition back, oh, and a spin there for Hani Verma. So off the line, Dmitry Alexiev. 2 initiation. Getting the job done so far on that first long outside zone. Now looking for the transition. Good job so far as he fires that car back. Looks for outside zone 3, straight on throttle. Big clutch kick straight away, no messing around. And really working that car, really working the clutch in that Mustang, trying to get it to do exactly what he needs it to do as he now finds that final outside zone. All bogged a little bit, but back on it straight away. The power of the Mustang pulling him around that final outside zone and across the line. So a 68.3 there for Dmitry Alexiev. So Road Salah up next on the line, and only 2 more drivers after Road. In another 350 GT or Infinity. You can see this car already growing and growing through the stages of being turned into a pro car, with a bit more power and response from that engine underneath the bonnet. Nice line, flicks it. Oh, he's going to go wide there, not where the judges wanted to see the transition done. You can see how that affects where the car's positioned into that final outside zone. They want to see that transition back to the left-hand side of the circuit, which we go to the last 2 drivers before these guys all get to go again. You can see them all down there in the back of the grid behind the burnout box, and it's going to be George Michael. So there we go, a thumbs up and the sign from our start line marshal down there. Ready to release George off the line. Through the gears, Nissan 370 said, big to initiation, damn it, the handbrake, sets himself up. Oh, looks like he's running out of gear already as he's on the rev limiter, can't stay in that long first outside zone, flicks the car back, looks for outside zone 3. Tries to put the rear wheel right into the zone, nice, just about keeps the wheel in it as he goes for that inside zone. Now transition back, this is more like where the judges want to see him, a nice flowing line in to that 5th outside zone, stays on the throttle and across the line. Yeah, nice initiation, maybe a big dab of the handbrake there, lost him the momentum and whipped up the car a little bit too much to get into that long first outside zone, nevertheless cleaned it up throughout the run. Car looks good, looks settled, looks nice to drive. So a 75 there for George. And our final driver will be Zoal Osmanov. And again, another very clean Nissan 370Z, another one of those I took a look around earlier on today, part of the Team Z Racing, comes off the line. Handbrake, you can see what it does there, pulls the car straight, almost out of that first outside zone, nevertheless stays on the throttle, flicks the car across, shallow angle through the inner zone. Oh, dials on big angle, can you hold on to it? You can, but it's going to sacrifice outside zone 3. Now has to work. As he fires it, looks for the final outside zone, finds it, stands on the accelerator, and it's tidy in that final outside zone, across the line, mistakes were made. So we can see where it all went wrong here. Shallows up the angle, tries to use the momentum to fire the car into outside zone 3, but look at this, overcompensated, didn't grab the handbrake or decel the car enough, and when he did, he scrubbed too much speed and put it on massive angle, and that pulled him away from outside zone 3. Nevertheless, gets the rest of the run done, and he will get a score on the ball. Almost a bone stock 350Z, no cage required, because they're getting a drive on a pro level circuit with pro drivers and learn what it takes. So there we go, off the line, Arthur Didonga, 53.3 on the first qualifying run. What can he do now? Handbrake initiation, big clutch kick straight into it. You can see him shallow up the angle, maybe catch a little bit of understeer as he tries to throw down, picks up that inner clipping point, big handbrake drag now, tries to push the car right to the edge of the circuit for outside zone 3, does get a wheel in there, makes his way around, transitions back, looks for the final outside zone, a big handbrake drag once again, big clutch kick, and he hang on as Arthur Didonka gets that car right to the edge of the track and across the line. You can see him inside the car there fighting with it, maybe some understeer, maybe put a little bit more grip in the car between the runs, adjusted the tyre pressures maybe. And you can see him really fighting with the car, trying to get it to go where he needs it to go. Not too easy to drive out there, especially these lower power cars on these big, wide, long radius corners. So wait for the score to drop in. So Nora back on the line, ready to go. So missed the score for that, but they will be published later on, and we will let you know who is the winner of our Pro 2 street class. There's Nora, big clutch kick, fails to get that car out to that first outside zone, so bleeding points already from our judges. Now trusts the grip in the car, puts it right to the edge of the circuit, but falls away again to outside zone 3. And again another driver you can see struggling, transitions the wrong part of the circuit, and it's going to be 4 wheels off the track, so a double 0 for Nora Jamal Saleh, and a spin as well at the end, just to make sure the judges know what they're looking at. Him up next, a 63 on his first qualifying score. Comes off the line, white Nissan 370Z. Puts the car to angle, and it's wide, it's very wide, it's 4 wheels off the track and collects a cone on the way as well. So going to try and complete the run. Mistake's already made. You can see that cone there going on a ride around this custom layout circuit here at the VDA at Yasmin Arena. So you can see where it all went wrong. No trust on the initiation, too much speed, boom, picks up the cone, 4 wheels off track, and do believe that will be a 0. Yep, so confirmed by the judges. Already starting to progress the car, now starting to progress the driving to move up into those higher ranks, into that pro class where things do take a big leap. Oh, there we go, track staff back, cones replaced, off the line Ralph Rebecca for his second qualifying run through the gears. Fails to get to that first outside zone, though, gets in there very, very late, drops out of it straight away. Big clutch kick, it's very scrappy for Ralph. Too many minutes sat on the line thinking about the task ahead as he now big clutch kick once again into outside zone 3. Fulfills all of the zone, holds on the angle, keeps it clean, transitions the car back, big angle, and he's going to pull out of that 5th outside zone. Dialed on too much angle, on throttle, had to dial off the angle, off the throttle, and it drove him straight off that line. There we go, you can see on the initiation in and out of that first long outside zone. Picks up the inner clip, good transition back, sets himself up nicely for outside zone 3, so he can get in there nice and early, big clutch kick, trusts the car. And this was quite nice here as well, wheel right on the white line, but they're here, look, fires on the angle. So it's a 49. For Ralph, we go back to the start line. Sebastian Crofter on his second qualifying run, 70. Can he improve? Nissan GT350 or Infinity. And you can see here, look, trust the car. Listen to the judges. Didn't scream up to the line and then slowed. Pulled up to the line, clutch kicked the car, but a lack of momentum with that very slow initiation. This time didn't really work out for him. Worked out perfectly last time. Now trying to find himself back on that qualifying line, wheel just about in outside zone 3. Comes through, wheels over, picks up cones again. We're losing cones left, right and centre here. And a wheel over once again. Big clutch kick, tries to put the car on the circuit. Just about keeps the wheel in that last outside zone. So definitely not going to be an improvement. So a 49.7, not an improvement on his first qualifying run, and maybe felt that he didn't have to go as fast on that initiation. You can see how it affected the car throughout the run. And another sacrifice cone goes to the bin. We move back to the line. It's going to be Mohammed Rahan, young man, and another 370Z. Gets the thumbs up and a little clap, little bit of encouragement there from our start line marshal as he goes through the chicane. All these guys have to follow the rules of normal pro competition. Big look at that, nice little dab in the handbrake. Just about keep a wheel in that last outside zone, in that first outside zone, sorry. Makes it work though on the rev limiter. That 350Z has nothing left to give on some of these long outside zones. Now in to outside zone 3, full throttle as he works the car around, looks to the inner zone, picks up nicely, almost mid-track transition, so better than last time. Oh, very nice as he gets in to that last long outside zone 5 and across the line. So a 70.7 for the second qualifying run, a big improvement. You'll be happy with that. As we go back on the line to Dina Rad Al Niyab, one of our female drivers. So Dina off the line. Big Mustang comes off the line, big clutch kick, full aggression. She goes to this time. Big clutch kick on initiation, but once again, kind of triangulates that first outside zone, flicks the car, tries to balance it in the inner zone. Now works her way back in to outside zone 3. Oh, wanders and wavers on the line. Picks up the inner. Now transitions back. See how she's working that steering wheel. Big angle, stands on the throttle, but it pulls her out of outside zone 5. Job done for Dina. So a 57.3 for Dina on her second qualifying run. As we go back on the line to Polkit Jane. Nissan 370Z. Needed a little bit more commitment on the initiation. Through the gears now, looking for a nice initiation. Look down with the handbrake this time. Maybe those nerves kind of fell away. Wheel into that long outside zone. Just about keeps one wheel in there as he transitions back. Flicks the car again across the circuit. Stands on the accelerator. This is a lot nicer from Polkit. Very good. Just a wheel over a little bit there. Picks up the inner. Good transition back now. Will set him up nicely for this final outside zone. Gets in it very late. But he's got a wheel right to the edge of the circuit. Over and back into it again and across the line. A lot cleaner there from Polkit, who sits on a 0 currently. As you can see there, the progression. These guys have been doing this all day this morning and all morning today and all of last night as they got to grips with the track, learned the limits, pushed the cars, tried to find the balance, find where they needed to be, and you can see Polkit has come on leaps and bounds since yesterday on his first run. So a 46 there after a 0, he'll be happy with that. We go back to the line, Yusuf Haytham up next. 64.7 on his first run. Big clutch kick. Oh, and slows it down with the handbrake. Didn't really need to do that. Could have let the car float across the circuit. Nevertheless, making it work. Who am I to speak right now? I'm sat in the commentary booth as Yusuf looks for outside zone 3. Oh, a little wobble. Big clutch kick once again. Tries to hold on to it. He does. Fulfills it all with outside zone 3. The car a little shy here, but he makes it work now. Final outside zone. Oh, it's 2 wheels over. Pulls it back into the outside zone and across the line. So looking back at the replay, so a 59 for Yusuf. Second inner clip, the transition after that into outside zone 5 being tricky. Judges talked about it quite a lot today with our pro driver, saying this could be the point where we might see contact this evening in our pro class top 32 competition. So off the line and through the gears from Mohamed Dal. He flicked that car in all, it didn't react, had to dab the handbrake, and now he's found himself out of that first long outside zone. Stands on the throttle, good transition, but he's on the inside. He's going to struggle to get across the circuit, and he does, but he triangulates it. It puts a wheel over. It's scrappy from Vidal. Oh, and he's on the inside. It's 3 wheels off the edge of the track, and another few cones destroyed, and that will be 4 wheels off, so that will be another 0 for the young man. And not a good weekend for him. You can see where it all went wrong. Good transition, but kind of kept it on the inside. Needs to let the car float out to the edge of the track, then stand on the accelerator And you can see here, as he comes through, miscalculates it, goes on the inside, flicks the car, and that triangulates this final outside zone. He goes off the edge of the circuit. Right, there we go. Back on the line, Ilya Melenin, the highest scoring driver so far with a 77.7. Can he improve and keep that first place strong? Or will he make a mistake with the pressure? Handbrake, sets himself up lovely for that first outside zone. Good use of the car so far. Falls out of it a little early. The judge is expecting that. Nice transition, full throttle, big clutch kick once again. Barely any slowing there as he goes into outside zone 3. Just using the angle of the car. Good line through the outside zone. And again, very good transition. Look at this into this final outside zone as Ilya stands on the accelerator across the line. And that was brilliant from this young man. So take a look back, you can see that, look at that, really nice. So scores exactly the same score as before, a 77.7. We go back on the line to Hani Verma. And this Chevrolet Corvette comes off the line a 0 on the first run. All to be done now, 77.7 is the score to beat. Can he be beaten with the last 4 drivers left on circuit? Doing well so far. Picks up that inner zone, transitions back. Looks for outside zone 3, fulfills it. Oh, goes a wheel over though. Walk home sacrificed. And picks up that inner. Oh, down with the handbrake, as you can see there inside the car, working away in the final outside zone. Big clutch kick and across the line for Verma. You can see the working away inside there. So a 64.3 for Hani Verma. Be happy to have a score on the board in this Pro 2 street class. The only driver close to toppling Ilya at the moment. So, but think so. What can he do though? Obviously comes off the line. This very clean Ford Mustang GT through the gears. Big clutch kick. Gets it into the outside zone. Nice work. Works the car all the way around the outside zone. Falls out a little early. Picks up that inner. Good transition back. Hardly any slowing. Trusts the grip in the car as he now looks for outside zone 3. Very tidy in that outside zone 3, picks up the inner, just a wheel over the edge of the white line. Good transition, oh, and it's going to be close. It's 3 wheels off track for Dimitri. Trusted that car a little bit too much. So wait for the score to drop in for Dimitri. Just got it wrong right here. Boom, trusts the car a little bit too much, goes wheels over, and that'll be where all the points are bled. There we go, thumbs up from our start line marshal. Rawad Salah comes off the line, big flip. Nice in that first outside zone. Stays committed, look at that, right to the edge of the circuit. Fulfills all of it. Right up to where the pros should be. Picks up that inner zone. This is very nice. Flicks the car back once again. Oh, wheel over the edge of the circuit now. Has to get it back into outside zone 3. Stands on the accelerator. Looks for the inner zone now. Can he keep it clean here? He can't. He can't. He handbrakes the wrong way. And that forces him into outside zone 5 late. Stands on the throttle. Fulfills all the zone to the edge of the circuit, but it is scrappy. So good commitment on initiation. Gets the car right where it needs to be. Puts it into that first outside zone. So very close to toppling Ilya. There's a 77.3. So it looks like he will take second place at the moment. So we go to George Michael next, car number 32 on the line. Nissan 370Z. Yes, you might have seen this car again doing double duty this half of competition. George fires in, puts it to the edge of the circuit, working away, wobbling and wavering there as he now comes down onto the inside edge of the circuit. Looks for the outer zone, big clutch kick, puts it deep into outside zone 3, holds on, flicks the car to angle. Can he make it work? It's going to be wide. It's 4 wheels off track. It looks like a 0 to me. What do the judges think of that? Had a lot of potential though to do well. So let's take a look back, see where it all went wrong. So, good commitment here. This is where it all kind of went wrong. Got the car too wide on that inner zone, transitioned the wrong place, and then put the car over the edge of the circuit. So it is a 0. Last driver, Zal Osmanov. Right, there we go, thumbs up from our start line marshal. And off the line, the last of our street drivers comes off the line to try and topple. As he fires in, right to the edge of the circuit. Big commitment, bleeding points though from the judges. Good transition back. Puts that car now wide, looks for outside zone 3, puts the rear wheel right to the edge of the circuit, if not over. This is clean from Zal Osmanov, and he now absolutely nails it inside zone. Good transition back. Oh, it's wide, it's 3 wheels off the edge of the circuit. And that had all the potential, that bled a ton of points there. And we'll see what the judges say. So a 67.7 there for Zal Osmanov. So there we go. All the scores in, and it does look like, ladies and gentlemen, Ilya Melenin, car number 28, the Z Racing Nissan 370Z, does take the win. Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the Emirates Drift Championship here at Yas Marina. We just see our street class, where those guys, our grassroots drivers, get the chance to drive on a pro-level circuit. These guys driving cars that not really built for pro-level driving, and these drivers not at pro-level yet. So we give them the opportunity to come out here, drive on a pro-level track, on a pro line, what our judge Kieran Hines designed, and see how they do. Our winner of that event was Ilya Melenin in a Nissan 370Z, a black car. Incredible drive from him, the highest qualifier of the day at 77.7 consecutively. As you can see now, the sun's setting here at Yas Marina at the VDA. And we are ready to almost kick off our pro qualifying before we head to our top 16 this evening at 6:30 p.m. local time. So there we go, you can see Ilya Melenin, our winner in that black Nissan 370Z. An incredible job by him, an incredible line. It just goes to show what this championship is doing for these grassroots drivers and how they're getting up. So qualifying is live right now, and we're going to head down trackside to kick off our pro qualifying session. Our first driver up on the line will be Mohammed Rifat, car number 9. So our judge is just getting in position outside, ready to do the business. You can see our track staff down there on the start line, preparing and getting ready after a small quick track clean up, and to make sure everything was all as it should be. So don't forget, if you're going to join us for our top 16 battles this evening, it will be 6:30 p.m. local time. So don't miss that, as we're ready to kick off our top 30, our qualifying session here at round 2 Emirates Drift Championship at Yas Marina. And managed to get the car here just in time to do a few practice runs before he now has to head out in qualifying. But we know that man comes alive in battle. Here we go on the line then. It's Mahmoud Rifat. Can this car lay down a qualifying run? As we say, problems with the car earlier on today. So our start line marshal gives him the thumbs up, and the first of our pro drivers comes off the line through the chicane, through the gears. Looks like maybe they got that car fixed. Big flick to initiation. Little dab on the handbrake, stays wide. Now we expect these guys to fulfill this first outside zone the whole way around. He doesn't as of yet. Now comes through, and you can hear that car not really working, and shuts down, dabs the handbrake, tries to put it into outside zone 3. As he manages to get a wheel in that zone, the scores will be significant lower for these pro drivers if they can't complete a full clean pass of the circuit on that perfect qualifying line, because we expect these pro drivers to be the best in their game. There we go. Run 1 in the bag there for Mahmoud Rifat. So, as we know, with that car not running 110%, you can see it there. A little shutdown maybe as he had to get that car back to angle. So a 48.3 on the first qualifying run there for Mahmoud. So up next, car number 36, and it is, of course, Sheikh Hamdan Al Nayan. Sits on the line. Absolutely incredible build. Spoke to Hamdan earlier on today, and he said that they didn't get the car ready for round 1 in Liwa. Wanted to make sure it's 110%, and it's not 110% now as he over-rotates the car in the first outside zone, so it will be a 0. So what can Hamad do? Looking comfortable in practice. Look at that little clap of the hands to the start line. Marshall is feeling good. He's feeling energized. He comes off the line through the gears. Big clutch kick to initiation. Fires that car into that first outside zone. A little late getting there, but now has to fulfill it all the way around, and he does as he transitions that car through that second inner zone. Looks for outside zone 3. A little decel there before outside zone 3, which was denoted on our track map. So they are allowed to decel, and they are allowed to decel right there as well. As you can see him just using the angle to slow the car down. Oh, big clutch kick, lights the tyres, drops a wheel over the edge of the circuit and across the line. So nice initiation, just what the judges were looking for. Faint initiation. Gets into the outside zone, works his way around, nice. Couple of little check-ups here and then, a wheel over the line. Not going to be the best score, but a score on the board nevertheless. And you can see there, big clutch kick as he tries to light those tyres in outside zone 5. Back on the line we go. And we'll wait for the score for Hamad to come in as we go back on the line. Daniel slams that car into gear through the chicane now. Screams through the gears as the V8 unleashes all the power. Big drag of the handbrake. Gets himself into that first outside zone. Little wobble, little waver. And stays in it nevertheless. Now flicks that car through. A little shallow on that inner clip 2. And you can see big correction of the steering now as he looks for outside zone 3. Stands on the throttle just about. Keeps the wheel on the line. Big drag of the handbrake though as he tries to dial on angle in that second inner clipping zone. Judges won't like that. Last outside zone fulfilled and across the line. So you can see there the initiation. Judges probably won't like that initiation. A big drag of the handbrake. So 68.3 for Daniel Maximov. And you can see there another handbrake going into that second inner clip. Judges won't like that again. The decel is after that once the transition's done. So we'll be bleeding points. We go to one of our female drivers in the pro class, Maya DeBass, in the street class. But I'm going to go for a shot in the pro class this evening to see what I can do, and laid down some really, really nice practice runs earlier on. Creeps off the line and through the chicane. This Sylvia PS13 is going to go for a big weight transfer, big dab of the handbrake. Makes it work though into that first outside zone, shallows up the angle, now stands on it. She looks for the transition for that inner clipping zone. She's going to be very wide, and she is. She transitions back. Now tries to find outside zone 3. Oh, it's 2 wheels over, takes the cones down, wanders back onto the circuit for Maya. The nerves settling in as she lets the car scrub speed on angle. She looks for that final outside zone, stands on the accelerator across the line. So you can see there that car taking a battering this weekend and at round 1. So a 45.7 there for Maya. She gets a score on the board. She won't be happy with that though. You can see working that car, scrubbed too much angle there on transition, stalled her up to get to that last outside zone. Xavier Alexander now on the line. Nissan 350Z. There we go. Through the chicane. Cones down, doesn't matter in qualifying. Flicks that car and keeps it within the constraints of that three-quarter line on the track. Look at that, very nice in that first long outside zone. Brings the car in. What can he do on the transition? Picks up that inner zone, both front wheels. Oh! Puts the car into a spin. And Xavier Alexander will score a 0. Takes himself straight off track. Felt the pressure of qualifying at round 1 in Liwa. Just couldn't get the job done as he slots that car into gear. A thumbs up. Hossein Musulmani sits on the line, ready for action. So there we go. Through the gears. Nice weight transfer. Little dab of the handbrake. Scrubs too much speed though. Now needs to find it once again as he tries to get back into that first outside zone. Picks up the inner, goes for the transition back. Good job of the transition. Pushes the car right to the edge of the circuit as Hossein Musulmani now puts that car right on the white line. Flirts with danger. Just a wheel over on the inside there. Transitions back nice and wide though. Good line into outside zone 5 for Hossein Musulmani, but heavy on the foot brake. Judges won't like that. Across the line goes Hossein Musulmani. So, if I heard that right, it was an 8-0. So an 80 for Hossein Musulmani. Hazem Ghazala up next. BMW E30. Comes off the line through the chicane with the anti-lag screaming. Goes for a weight transfer, didn't seem to work. Pulled the handbrake instead. Now dabs the foot brake through that first outside zone. Stands on the accelerator, or very shallow through that inner second zone. Now back on throttle once again. A big clutch kick. Oh, but he falls out of outside zone 3. It's starting to fall apart here as he now flicks the car back across the circuit into outside zone 5. Stands on the accelerator, dials on the angle, holds onto it across the line. So a 70 there for Hazem. As the score drops in from the judges and we go back to the start line to see Anthony Habib. As you can see there, dials on massive angle there in outside zone 5. Just about holds on to it. Pro-charged Nissan GT 350 or Infinity if you're from the UAE. Stands on the accelerator, wanders in that first long outside zone though. Now starts to unleash the power as he flicks that car across the circuit in to outside zone 3. Very good line in 3. Very wide though, just drops the wheel over the edge of the circuit. Now looks for the final outside zone. Stands on the accelerator. Just about keeps the wheel in it across the line. So a 71.3 there for Anthony Habib. We go back on the line. Muad Hamad. As we see the replay of Habib. Looking good. Practice. These guys were shining, but now in qualifying, when the eyes are on them from the judges, you can see the nerves starting to creep in. A lot of these guys starting to feel the pressure as Muad pulls up to the line. That's 14.5 off the line. And this thing screams as it comes around the circuit. Big clutch kick, dab of the handbrake, sets himself up. That first outside zone fulfilled nicely. Now onto the throttle as he goes for that inner zone. Very shallow angle though. Now starts to dial it back on again. Full throttle in outside zone 3, right to the edge of the circuit. And hear that supercharger whine as he picks up that second inner. Now has to go really wide, dials on the angle, stands on the accelerator as rubber's thrown at the drone across the line. So a 77.7 there for Hamad. We go to Ali Shajwani up next on the line. And Shajwani struggling earlier on today in practice to keep tyres on the back of this car, run such low tyre pressures. Tyre was debeading on initiation as he pulls the handbrake. Gets himself ready to go. Lexus IS 200 or 300, depending on where in the world you're from. Stands on the accelerator, fulfills all of that first outside zone. Very good driver, this young man. Just been struggling with the car today and some last evening. As he gets back onto the throttle again, into that outside zone 3, right to the edge of the circuit. You can see how low those tyre pressures are as he picks up the inner. Wrong place to transition, though. Judges would have been sacrificing, bleeding points away from him there as he now fulfills outside zone 5. Across the line, tidies it up at the end. So an 80 there for Shashwani. I'd be happy with that. His first qualifying score and the highest qualifier tied at the moment with Hussein Musulmani. Right to the edge of the circuit. There's a few wobbles and wavers. Wheels off track. That transition there should have been wider. Should have been further over to the left-hand side of the circuit. We go back on the line. Lucas Garrett now sits on the line. Ford Mustang. A wide body. Again, another driver struggling in Liwa at round 1. What can he do here? A bit more of a technical track, but flowing as well at the same time. These long outside zones. Good job there on outside zone 1. Looks for the transition. Gets it done. Very nice. Right wheel right on the edge of the circuit. Floats that car out right to the edge of outside zone 3. Hammers down the throttle, flicks the car to angle. This is very tidy right now from Garrett as he gets himself in to that final outside zone. That's unbelievable. Really good driving from this young man as he gets the car across the line. So we'll see if the judges liked it as much as I did. So a 79.3. It was rewarded. It was a nice run. Maybe I hyped it up more than what the judges thought. Maybe lack of speed and a little bit of commitment. Nevertheless, good run there from that young man. We go back on the line. It's going to be Adam Nabil. And this young man, unbelievable. Adam Nabil off the line. Incredible Nissan Silvia S15. Supercharged. V8 underneath the bonnet. Sim drifter. But now, again, see this in Liwa. Starts to fall apart in qualifying. Struggles. Some serious pace in this Nissan Silvia S15. But just a sudden rush of blood to the head as flames are up from the back of that S15. Puts it to the edge of the circuit. Holds on, but it wasn't clean. So, Robert up next. Babagulian. Nissan Silvia, Nissan 350Z, his teammate has the Silvia. Here we go, through the chicane, through the gears, down for initiation, flicks that car across the track, really nice initiation, fulfills all of that first outside zone. On the foot brake though, quite heavy, judges won't like it, but he's looking clean so far as he fires that car now. Back across, transition on the foot brake, sacrifices a little line into outside zone 3, now picks up the throttle. Again, you can see transitions on the wrong side of the track, it's going to hurt his line into outside zone 5. Hammers down on the throttle and wanders in that final outside zone. So really nice. So an 86.3, good commitment. Judges rewarding him for the commitment and the line. An 86.3 so far. The Pro Drift Academy driver sits on the line. V8 Toyota GT86. There we go. Gets the thumbs up. Through the chicane, leaves through the gears. Mohammed Shiab flicks that car left to right and fulfills all of that first outside zone right to the edge of the circuit. Mohammed Shiab made his debut in Europe last year, at the Drift Masters Championship. What could he do right now? Here, back in the UAE. Look at this from Mohammed Shiab as he puts that GT86 right where it needs to be. This is clinical from this young man. Back across the circuit into outside zone 5, fulfills it. Will once again flirting with the edge of the track and across the line. Unbelievable from Mohammed Shiab there. Oh. Look at this, unbelievable stuff. And a 96 from our judges. That was absolutely beautiful from Mohammed Shiab. Judges liking that, our highest qualifier so far. As we go back on the line, it's going to be Iab Abu. The boot lid, as the temperature's still very warm here in Yas Marina. Even though the sun's gone down, he flicks that car to angle. Look at that, floats it right to the edge of the circuit. As he now works his way around, looks for the transition, perfect line as he flicks it back across the track once again. Stands on the throttle, puts the rear wheels deep into outside zone 3. Looks for the inner, dabs the handbrake though. Judges wouldn't have liked that as he's back on the handbrake again into outside zone 5. Stands on the accelerator and fulfills all of the zone, all wonders at the very last moment. So we take a look back at the replay. Another really good run there from Iab Abu. So an 89.7 drops in for Iab Abu. And a really good job there in qualifying. His first qualifying run of the day. So there we go. On the line we go to Damir in this incredible Nissan 400Z. These cars built in the UAE. He comes off the line through the chicane. Look at this, eager to get it done. This car looks incredible. Big clutch kick to initiation. Slight dab of the handbrake onto the foot brake he goes, so he keeps the back end in. That first outside zone, transitions the car back, picks up the inner zone, looks back for outside zone 3. Now stands on the accelerator. Really good line. This is incredible from this young man as he now picks up that inner. Could have been a little closer if we're going to be splitting this with a fine-tooth comb. Good line now into outside zone 5. Stands on the foot brake and across the line goes Damir.
Bro, good job. Good. Next car number? Next car number? 44.
So a 92 drops in there for Damir from Fresh X Racing. And I think he lost a few points there on that inner zone and the transition into that outside zone 5. Apart from that, some incredible driving from this young man. As we go back on the line to Ramzi Ahmed. So Ramzi Ahmed sits on the line. In Liwa, fifth in Liwa, as he now hammers around that first outside zone. Good line so far, good transition. Can he pick up a nice line here? Dabs on the foot brake as he gets into outside zone 3, puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Works his way through, good transition. Mid-track could have been a bit wider. Judges will be taking the points away there as he gets into outside zone 5. Stands on the accelerator, wanders in that outside zone 5, but across the line. So an 86.7 drops in for Ramzi Ahmed. Some really good driving from these guys, and you can see that a commitment. Look at this. It could have been wider there. You can see he gets into that zone, but he kind of triangulates it. But nevertheless, it's a job done and a score on the board as we go back to the start line to Samir Sabeh. BMW E36. Right, so there we go. Clips a cone. No worries though. In qualifying, fix that car into that first outside zone. Nice line, stays on it. Foot brake, pushes the back wheels towards the outer edge of the circuit. Good transition, nice angle on that inner clip 2. Transitions now, looks for outside zone 3. Good line, just wanders a little bit as he creeps up now into that second inner clip. Slows the car down massively as he comes through outside zone 5. Wheel over the edge of the track, and you can see how low he's running those tyres, almost off the rim.
Out of the frame. You see the replay, that you understand. You see the replay for the live?
So judges will be
Yeah, you see.
taking a look back at the replay of this. Look how low those tyre pressures are. So an 83 on the board there for Samir Sabit. And that'll be the wheels over the edge of the circuit, as you can see there. And that transition, not too bad. Kind of checked himself up a little bit, though, as the drone took himself off for a scenic look around Yaz Island. So Karim Hani sits on the line. Incredible build. F22 BMW Eurofighter. And says on the back bumper, this is a paint job. That isn't a ramp. That is a paint job. The car looks absolutely stunning. And it goes well as well. Look at this as he flicks it in. Big handbrake drag though. Oh, just about keeps it on circuit. Stands on the foot brake to make sure the car doesn't travel too far. Again on the foot brake. Big transition on the handbrake. And he make it work now. He's heavy on the foot brake once again in to outside zone 3. Looks for the transition back. A handbrake before. It's scrappy from Karim Hani. What can he do as he goes into outside zone 5? Stands on the accelerator. Pushes that car right to the edge of the track and across the line.
Chat. The live stream people watching, you're hearing people talking.
Next round, shift other place.
So 74.7 there for Karim Hani. As we go back onto the start line to a man on the podium at round 1, it was the man who took second place, Khalifa Al Falassi. This young man, the Pro Drift Academy driver, sits on the line. This incredible Nissan Silvia S13. Clips a cone through the gears. No messing around though as he flicks that car. Oh, on the handbrake though. Strange initiation for Falassi. Normally goes for the big wide flick. Job done on that first outside zone though as he goes wheel over the edge of the circuit. Flames erupt from underneath the bonnet as he now works his way onto the throttle again in outside zone 3. Looks for the inner zone. Oh, and he's deep again. This is scrappy from Falassi. Can he clean it up? He gets into outside zone 5. Just about, though. Just keeps a wheel in it. He's wandering a little bit as Falassi takes it over the line. So 77.3 there for Karim Al Falassi. We go to our first place. See, in a few moments' time, before we go live for our top 16 battles, and Nasser Al-Habali saying that he had low oil pressure at round 1 in Liwa, managed to get the car through to the final and win the event, but then the car straight back to the UAE, and Nasser saying he only having 2 runs of the circuit, and the car broke on the second one. So what can he do here in qualifying as he flicks the car across the track? Fires it into that first outside zone. Very nice line for Harbali now as he transitions, picks up that inner zone, back across. He'll just need to get a score on the board. We know this young man comes alive in battles as Nasser Al-Harbali fulfills all of outside zone 3. Headlights shine into the face of the camera as he flicks it back once again. Final outside zone coming. Hammers onto the throttle. Does Nasser Al-Harbali and across the line. So a 91.7 for Nasser Al-Harbali. Unbelievable. Drops himself into 3rd place in qualifying at the moment. In 1st place we have Mohamed Shiab. In 2nd place we have Demir in that Nissan 400Z. And in 3rd place, right, here we go. Back on the line, ready to go for the 2nd runs of our qualifying session of our Pro class. There's going to be Mahmoud Rifat on the line first. A 48.3 on his first qualifying score. Work to be done as he comes off the line and through the gears. Turbo 350Z. Struggled with this car, like I say in practice, misfiring and not running 110%, and Still wonder if the team have managed to got it working 110% now. Again, that same issue creeps up on that transition back into outside zone 3, and wanders and wavers, tries to keep a wheel into that zone. Now fires it across. It's a scrappy transition from Mahmood as he waits to get himself into 5 and across the line. So a 52.7 for Mahmood, a slight improvement. And we'll see later on if it's going to be enough to get him in the show. Up next, Sheikh Hamdan Al Nayan, 0 on his first qualifying run after that spin in outside zone 1. Was flying in practice earlier today. So we're going to see what he can do now. Needs to put a score down, as we say, a 0. Pops off the line. It's V8. San Silvia S15, incredible looking car. Screams to initiation, stands on the throttle. It's out of that first outside zone though, scrappy already for Hamdan as he puts his foot to the floor once again. Nice transition, you can see that car very soft and it's not really working for him as he's struggling to get it to go where it needs to be. Transitions back, looks for outside zone 5, just can't seem to get there as Hamdan gets it into the zone across the line. You can see inside the car he's not happy. So a 53 for Hamdan. And I think with the amount of high scores we've got further up the board, we'll see if he makes it into competition later on this evening. Incredible build, but a brand new car for 2026. As we go back on the line to Muhand Hamad. So what can Hamad do? Comes off to the line. BMW E91 flicks it to angle. Very tentative initiation as he now stands on the throttle. Turbo V8 underneath the bonnet. Flicks it to angle, but this is very tentative and scrappy from this young man. Scored a 73.3 on his first qualifying score, and again a big mistake there. Nerves setting in. This is not going to be better than his first qualifying run. Oh, drops out of outside zone 5. Back in again and across the line. So a 54.7 drops in for Hamad. 54.7, it won't be an improvement as guessed earlier on, as we see Daniel Maximov pull up to the line. Daniel Maximov, this incredible Nissan Silvia S15, very, very clean car. There we go, he gets the signal to leave the start line, slams the car into gear, and what can Daniel Maximov do as he comes through the chicane, through the gears, flicks the car back on the handbrake he goes. Oh, and he falls out of that first outside zone. Already starting to bleed points away from that perfect 100. What could he do as he transitions back? He's on the foot brake again, looks for outside zone 3. Oh, and he falls in and out of it straight away and struggling now as the temperature has dropped on circuit here at Yas Marina. Oh, and it's a wheel over and it's wheel back on. It's scrappy from Daniel as he gets it across the line. So sun goes down and it does get really chilly out here in the evening, and as the sun has left us here in Yas Marina, I wonder if the track has dropped massively in temperature. So a 61.3 drops in for Daniel. As we look to the next driver on the line, it will be Maya Debas. So Maya scoring a 45.7 on her first qualifying run. Yep, and there she goes. 2 thumbs up from our start line marshal and waved on. She now leaves the start line through the chicane, as all of our qualifying drivers have to. Oh, a little stall up there. Oh, and a massive slow on a handbrake there. I wonder if there's an issue with this car. didn't look like she could get it up and going into initiation, and now she's struggling. Now she's not on that perfect qualifying line. Fires the car to outside zone 3, takes down the cones. Oh, and it's a wheel over as she pops back onto the tarmac. Oh, and a big handbrake drag the wrong way. There's definitely an issue with the car as she goes off the circuit and then back on again. And across the line, I do believe in the middle there where it got a little hairy with our camera positions. I wonder if she did go 4 wheels off track. So goes for the transition, picks up the zone. Yeah, and it is going to be a 0. I believe that part there is off track. Yeah, is so it is going to be a 0 there for Maya. And she's going to be relying on that 45.7 as we go back to Xavier Alexander, who scored a 0 on his first qualifying run. Good commitment, good initiation, but just couldn't get it done on the transition, put that car into a spin. So Nissan 350Z off the line, a thumbs up from the marshal through the chicane. Good speed, good commitment as he come off the line last time. What can he do this time? Big flick on the handbrake a little bit, but not too bad. Just about keeps the rear wheel in that first long outside zone. Now opens up the throttle, looks for the inner zone, a little shallow, but makes it work as he now fires on the angle, stands on accelerator, looks for outside zone 3 and now starts to fill it as he gets that job done. What can he do as he picks up the inner, goes for that nice transition back now, works it out, gets it dialed as he goes in to the final outside zone, keeps it in the zone and across the line.
عاصم اعمل لي لو سمحت كابتشر ران 1 وابعت لي اياها لو سمحت كابتشر وابعت لي اياها ران 1. سالم اعطينا بس بوز شوي هولد شوي هولد البرو كواليفيكيشن 1
So we wait the score to drop in for Xavier Alexander. As we can see, Hussein Musulmani on the line, ready to go. An 80 on his first qualifying run. There we go, off the line and through the gears. Hussein Musulmani, Chevrolet Corvette, comes to life as he flicks it in to that first outside zone. Oh, and he goes wide, just about holds the rear wheel into that zone. He does drop a wheel over. Judges will take some points off of that now. Struggles to get deep into this outside zone. Does at the end though, as Hussein Musulmani dials on the angle, flicks the car back. Nice place to transition, but it doesn't work for him. He doesn't get to outside zone 5 in time. Now he struggles as he stands on the foot brake across the line. Did you get a score for
what's his name?
Xavier Alexander?
كم سكورك Xavier? داني
So score drops in for Xavier, and that will be a 71. And there we go, thumbs up all around, ready to go. It's off the line comes Hazem Gazelle. Big backfire, external wastegate and exhaust. Pop flames as he gets into that first outside zone. You can see Yas Marina now fully illuminated as he works his way around. Shy on that inner. What can he do now as he looks to get to outside zone 3? Oh, and he's right on the edge of the circuit. Tries to get it back deep. What can he do? He's on the wrong place. So all 2 wheels on that white line on the inside is not what the judges wanted to see. They're going to not like the line into that final outside zone either. So a 68.3 for Hazem there, drops in. We go back onto the line to Anthony Habib. 71.3 on his first qualifying run. This pro-charged in practice, and he gets the signal to leave the start line. Big clutch kick through the gears, another big clutch kick, flicks the car, little dab with the handbrake, gets himself into that first outside zone. This is a lot nicer from Anthony Habib now as he goes to pick up that inner zone. Could have been a little deeper, nevertheless stays in it. Big commitment as he goes for outside zone 3, fulfills it right to the edge of the circuit, picks up that second inner. Oh, transitions a little scruffy, and the line struggles to get in to outside zone 5 and sacrificed a ton of points there.
Next car number.
Next car, 16.
Where is drone?
Ready order?
Ready.
Go to page.
Awesome.
So a 76.7 there drops in for Anthony Habib. Slight improvement. We go back to the line to Moed Hamad. There we go. Thumbs up all around. And he is clear to send. Sylvia S15.9 off the line. P8 takes the cones down on initiation. Oh, wobbles in that first outside zone. Could hear him working the throttle as he picks up that inner clipping point. Transitions back. Oh, and he's going to go wide once again as he goes for outside zone 3. Scrappy from Moyet. Into that final outside zone. Screams through, but falls over again, and that's a lot of points bled there from Hamad. So a 74 there for Moed. And you can see where he's bleeding those points there, dropping the wheels over the edge of the second. Look at that line he took into outside zone 5. Very late getting there, and then dropped a wheel, almost triangulated that final outside zone back on the line to Ali Shazwani. Sits on the line, ready to go. And there we go, off the line, through the gears. Ali Shazwani flicks that car in, outside zone 1, collected, full throttle. Looks like he's managing to keep the tyres on the back of this Lexus right now as he fires it back once again. Washes that car out nice and wide. Good line into outside zone 3. Stands on the throttle, keeps it right close to the edge of the circuit. What can he do here on the inner? That's beautiful. But transitions a little wider this time. Missed the line into outside zone 5 from the drone shot there. As we now try and pick up the end of that final outside zone, and he throws a 360 in just for fun. So an 81.7 there drops in for Ali Shazwani. Lucas Garrett now steps up to the line, a 79.3 on his first qualifying run. And this Ford Mustang. Judges not liking it as much as me. For me, it flowed really nice, was a good line. Judges maybe wanted to see a little bit more commitment, a little bit more speed. There we go, off the line for Lucas Garrett. Tentative initiation, nevertheless, gets himself in to that first outside zone. Opens up the throttle, looks for a transition, makes it work. Once again, lacking, I think, that impact, that real showmanship run that we'd like to see from Lucas Garrett. It's technical, it's collected, it's a good line. The judges wanted to see maybe a little bit more from this man as he gets the job done again across the line. So 79.7, 2 consistent scores. Would have been looking for a little bit more though. We go back on the line, Adam Nabil. 75 on his first qualifying run. This young man, incredible driver. What could he do right now? A little bit wild on his first qualifying run. Oh, and he's struggling to find all of that first outside zone. You can see the car washing wide there as he now unleashes the power. Supercharged V8 underneath the bonnet, stands on the accelerator and fulfills all of outside zone 3. Oh, a little scrappy there once again, and a big handbrake drag into 5. Not what the judges were looking for. Gets the job done. Incredibly fast run through the circuit.
Okay, next shot I want for the EDC to okay. I want your gimmicks this shot. Okay. Again change battery. Again by change battery.
جاهز ريبلاي محطوط على الشاشة بدك من الأول. For judges replay separate. For judges
same.
No, separate or no?
No.
It's a big problem, brother.
So, judges asking to see a replay of that run for some reason.
Okay, with which camera you want?
Replay now.
Yeah, one more replay. Yeah, here one more. Replay one more.
In battles, we need separate. Okay.
So there we go, thumbs up and away he goes. Robert comes off the line, Robert Babagulian. Nice line, that first outside zone, picks up the inner, flicks the car back, looks for outside zone 3, stands on the foot brake though, trying to push the rear wheel right to the edge of the track. Job done so far as he flicks it through that inner zone. This is very nice from Robert at the moment, late into outside zone 5 though, stands on the throttle once again. This is clean for this young man across the line. So yeah, getting confused there between Adam and Robert. Robert scored an 86.3 on his first qualifying run. And this was very nice. I missed that completely, what the score was.
Yeah. This is very good.
We go back on the line to Mohammed Shiab. Wait, try and get the score there for Robert Babagulian. Mohammed Shiab now sits on the line, our current highest qualifier with a 96. What can he do? V8 Toyota GTA 6 Pro Drift Academy car comes off the line through the gears. Mohammed Shiab puts that car right deep into that first outside zone, full throttle, no messing around. Clinical once again as he just used a foot brake to set that car where it needs to be on that inner zone. Now dials the car right to the edge of the circuit, maybe a wheel over the white line if we're splitting hairs, but he's absolutely flying, is Mohammed Shiab right now. Looks for the line into outside zone 5, gets there, it's a little scrappy, but he does make it work now. Shiab goes for the edge of the circuit and across the line.
Brother, okay, my brother, don't start immediately. I will inform you that and you go. Because of I will first camera 1, after camera 2, after your camera. Okay, that's it.
So an 85.7, judge is not liking it as much as the first qualifying run.
Yeah. Oh, yes, no. Okay.
So 7 drivers, carbon Kevlar, S14, or S15.9. Beautiful looking car. Scored an 87. We'll try and do a little bit more. This car's super aggressive as he fires through the gears, looks for the initiation, big clutch kick down with a handbrake, gets the car where it needs to be, stands on the throttle. As Falar puts the car back across the circuit once again, looking for outside zone 3, stands on the throttle. Really good stuff right now as he comes through. Nice line into 5. Can he make it work? He can as he stands on the accelerator. This is much better from Iyad Alou Falar across the line. So we got 90 drops in there for Iyad Alou Falar. Very nice run. Could have been a little cleaner there. It just makes it work. But good run Little wandering in the outside line. If we were splitting hairs again, these guys are getting really good. Up next, Demir sits on the line, a 92. And there we go, off the line for Demir. What can he do? A 92 in his first qualifying run. Flicks that car across the circuit. Very nice line into that first outside zone. Right to the edge of the circuit. Dabbing the foot brake. Looks for that inner zone. He's cleaner this time. Transitions the car back once again. Stands on the accelerator. Just tapping the foot brake. Pushing the rear wheels. And that 400Z right to the edge of the circuit. Very nice. Flicks it back. Good transition. Sets himself up lovely into that final outside zone. On the foot brake. Quite heavy there though. Not sure how much the judges are going to love that as he wanders across the line. So good stuff there from Demir. So 92.7, two almost identical runs. I think the left foot braking is not what the judges liked. It could have been a touch deeper there, but nevertheless, unbelievable stuff. 92.7. Move it along to Ramzi Ahmed now. Our top 5 in qualifying. The guys who finished in the top 5 at the last round. There we go. Anti-lag fires from the front and the back of the S14 as he fires into that first outside zone. Fulfills it lovely as he now works his way around some small steering inputs as he doesn't get too deep on that second inner clip. Looks for outside zone 3, a little too deep there on the entry, but makes it work as he now picks up that second inner clip, flicks the car back across, looks for outside zone 5, stands on the throttle, pushes the back end towards the white line, smoke to the wing mirror as he gets it across the line.
Camera 1 number, please.
Listen,
Car number.
tell the wrong guy up because too much smoke. They not see.
Number.
So Ramzi Ahmed scores the same score as his first qualifying run, an 86.7 once again. Here we go, Samir Sabet off the line. Through the gears, BMW E36 V8. Flicks the car into the first long outside zone. Job done so far, looking tidy from Samir Sabet. Puts the car back across the circuit again in to that inner zone. Stands on the accelerator, puts the back wheels towards the white line as he fulfills all of outside zone 3. Can he collect that inner? He can. And the transition's lovely as he fires the car right to the edge of the circuit, drops a wheel over the white line as he fulfills all of outside zone 5 and job done. This beautiful BMW F22 Eurofighter. And as it says on the back, this is a real paint job. It is absolutely flawless in real life. It's a shame because, there we go, thumbs up, slams the car into gear. As Karim Hani comes off the line for his second qualifying run, his final qualifying run of the evening. All big handbrake drag, but he floats the car right out to the edge of the circuit, back on throttle. Now on the foot brake as well as he picks up that inner zone. Big handbrake drag, but there is a decel there. You can see him heavy on the foot brake though. Judges won't like that. He fires through outside zone 3, picks up the inner, flicks the car back, looks for outside zone 5. It's a nice line from Karim Hani, but the judges won't like the amount of foot brake as he gets it across the line. So a 92.3 puts Karim Hani way up there in the order on his second qualifying run. Very good stuff there from that young man. Khalifa Al Falassi, the young superstar driver from the Pro Drift Academy. There we go, off the line for Karim Al Falassi. He flicks that car in. Good entry into that first outside zone. Now stays committed, full throttle. It's this Silvio S13 just clips the cones of the front bumper, full commitment. Scrubs some speed, gets himself dialed into outside zone 3 as he puts that tyre right to the edge of the circuit. Once again, a wheel over on the inside, but it's a nice line, but he's late to get to outside zone 5 and he struggles to get deep as he now finds the edge of the circuit and across the line. So score drops in, it will be a 78 for Khalifa Al Falassi. And then we go back to the line for our final qualifying run of the evening. And it will be our championship leader at the moment, and that's Al Habali. So given the signal to go through the start line. Goes Nasser Al-Hawali, fires that car in, look at that, very deep, right to the edge of the circuit on outside zone 1, screams past the commentary booth as he hammers on the throttle. As Nasser Al-Hawali now fulfills outside zone 3, could have been a little wider if we're splitting hairs, but he's doing an incredible job so far, only 2 laps of the circuit today as he gets on the foot brake, trying to keep the back end of the 370Z in the zone and across the line. So a 93.7 for Nasser Al-Habali's second qualifying run, and that does wrap up qualifying here at round 2 of the Emirates Drift Championship.